Hi, I hope you are doing well. Today I will be presenting ISA 800 revised, which deal with audit of financial statement prepared in accordance with special purpose framework. Let's move forward and see what are the main agendas of our video. I will briefly cover the importance, objectives, scopes, key requirement, and practical example, followed by the common mistakes and exam focus point of view. And we will summarize our presentation with summary. Let's move forward to what are the main importance of ISA 800. ISA 800 is important because not all the financial statements are prepared for general use, such as shareholder or the public. Some financial statements are prepared for a specific purpose for a specific user and using a specific purpose framework. Without ISA 800, auditor report could be misleading and user might incorrectly assumptions that the statement follow IFRS or other general purpose standards. ISA 800 ensure auditor quality is maintained and that the purpose framework and limitations are clearly communicated to the user. ISA 800. Let's move forward and see what are the main objectives of ISA 800. The objectives of ISA 800 is for the auditor to apply all the relevant ISAs and adapt them appropriately. When the auditor specific purpose financial statement, the auditor must also form an opinion and ensure a report that is lead, not misleading, properly explain the purpose and the framework used in ISA 800. And what is the purpose of ISA 800? ISA 800 apply when an auditor is engaged to audit. Those statements are prepared using a specific purpose framework. ISA 800 do not apply to general purpose financial statement which are covered by ISA 800. Audit of a single financial statement or element which are covered by ISA 805 and ISA 800 is all. This is the main scope of ISA 800. Let's move forward and see what are the common mistakes that are usually made. Let's move forward and see common specific purpose framework. Example specific purpose framework include tax basis, regulatory basis, contract cash basis, and regulatory basis. You can see the definitions here, and each of these is designed to meet the need of specific user, not the general public. But let's move forward and see the key definition of ISA 800. A specific purpose framework is financial reporting framework designed to meet need or specific users such as tax authorities or banks. Intended user are the specific user for whom the statement are prepared. This is important because it affects whether the auditor report should include specific wording or restrict on used. Key requirements. We will discussing the key requirement. This is the most important part of ISA 800. These financial statements are prepared for the specific purpose as we know. So the ISA 800 provide additional guidance for auditors. And these have 6 points. I'm going to explain one by one in detail. Before the first point is accepting and connectedness of engagement. Before accepting the engagement, the auditor must ensure that engagement is appropriate. First, the auditor must assess whether the specific purpose framework is accepted. If the framework is misleading or incorrect, the engagement must not be accepted. Second, management must acknowledge responsibility for preparing the financial statement and maintaining internal control. Third, the purpose of financial statement are used intended user must be clearly defined. Now let's understand the second point, understanding the framework. The auditor must understand why the special purpose framework is used and how it differs from a general purpose framework. The auditor also considers whether the disclosure are sufficient to avoid misleading. For example, tax-basis financial statement may include accrual or a fair value, so user must be aware of these limitations. Let's move forward and discuss planning and performing the audit. All relevant ISAs still apply, but auditor procedure must be adapted to the specific purpose framework. The auditor focus on risk relevant to that framework. For example, in a cash-based financial statement, accrual testing not be relevant, but complaints of cash receipt become important. Let's see what is the maturities point. Maturity is determined based on specific purpose financial statement as a whole and the need of intent user. As a result, maturity may differ from general purpose audit. What is audit report? The audit report must follow ISA 700 device. It must clearly identify the specific purpose framework and the purpose of financial statement. The opinion must be referred specific to the special purpose framework and report must be emphasized that has the statement are prepared for a specific purpose. And the last point, which is restriction on use. If the financial statements are intended only for the specific purpose, the auditor should restrict the use of audit report that will help prevent misuse or misinterpretation by general user. Let's move forward and see the example. For example, a company prepared tax-based financial statement for submission to tax auditor. Now, what are the auditor responsibilities? The auditor complete a financial statement, apply ISA 800, issue a report starting the statement are prepared under the tax basis clearly mentioned they are not intended for general use, include a restriction on distribution. I hope now you are able to understand the definition and the example. Now let's move forward to common mistakes that usually made include treating the specific purpose statement like general purpose statement not clearly and the other is not clearly describing the framework, obtaining restriction on use using standard ISA 700 wording without modification, assuming user automatically understand the limitation. Let's move forward and discuss the exam focus point of view. The examiner often tests the definition of specific purpose framework, difference between ISA 700 and ISA 800, when restricted on use is required, auditor report modification, accepting criteria, the role of intent user, and the summary of our lecture is now we are going to conclude our lecture. ISA 800 apply to the specific purpose financial statement. All ISAs applied but they must be adapted. The auditor must ensure the framework is accepted and you are not misled. The auditor report must be clearly describe the framework and include the restriction on use when required. I hope you are able to understand ISA 800. That's all for that. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.